nice big bowl here, and to that I'm gonna add yogurt. That's 1 cup of yogurt, just plain old yogurt. You don't really need to go with anything with a flavor because we're trying to keep it without any sort of outside influence. We've got some olive oil, and what we're making here is a sort of tandoori rub that will coat the chicken in. And this recipe will not be posted on caribbeanpot.com, being that it is not a Caribbean recipe, so it's just going to be here on my YouTube channel. I'm only sharing it. Salt, it may look like quite a bit of salt. It's about a teaspoon or so, teaspoon and a half of salt, because I'm using an entire chicken. The only reason why where was I? Why am I sharing it? Oh, the recipe. One of my favorite things to do, I've got ginger garlic paste here. Yeah, and of course, you gotta head over to your favorite Indian. I was about to say Caribbean, I was about to say West Indian. This is Tandoori Spice Blend. And you know, you can speak to them at the store there and you can ask them for recommendations. This was gifted to me. There is an Indian store, a grocery store I visit quite frequently. Let me just go in there, you can see it even better. In Toronto, and next door they've got a pizza joint where they also make tandoori wings in the same pizza oven. And I'm telling you, boy, beyond the price, which is very good, you know, a pound of wings for $9 or something, that's unheard of. Excuse me. Yeah, that Kashmiri pepper in here is real nice. That chicken wing that they have there is one of my favorite things to order when I drive out to Toronto. So what I did was, and what I do is, I'm gonna replicate the wings. And if you want that wing recipe, please drop a comment down below and I'll get to it. All I'm doing is trying to combine everything, and then the chicken is gonna go in here. And this is the chicken. Excuse me. It's an entire chicken that I broke down into half, and you'll notice 2 things. One, I kept the skin on because when this goes into the oven, excuse me, wow, that tandoori rub that we created, and you know, here's this, let's be clear, tandoori isn't only about that sort of rub that we created here, it is about the oven. It's a high heat oven. I believe it's in original days it would be in a clay oven, that the chicken or whatever you were doing, the tandoori style, and that impacts a lot of flavors. But beyond that, the skin is gonna char, and you know, like the chicken wings that I get in Toronto, this allows me to get that charred chicken wing with all that flavor in there. But what I also went ahead and did, and you'll see, I made some cuts. Yeah, so this is the leg and thigh here, this chicken breast and the chicken wing. So half a chicken there, half a chicken here. And you can see the big cuts that I made, especially in the breast, because I want that marinade to make its way all in there. You can marinate this. I'm just gonna grab some paper towel to wipe my hands. You can marinate this for a couple hours, but in my case, I am going to go for overnight. Tomorrow, this is gonna end up being lunch for me. Going to get rid of this, and my hands are going to get dirty now. So this recipe is influenced by those wings that I get in Toronto. That is what I was trying to get at. And again, you can remove the skin of the chicken. That is totally cool. So this is half of a chicken, and I'm just going to go in there with that and just mix that around and try to get into those cuts that we made. Yeah, that is going to do some wonderful things for you overnight there in the oven. I mean, marinating in the fridge. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then I'm gonna cling wrap the bowl, and I'm gonna put it into the fridge for this to marinate overnight. So tomorrow we'll continue. And again, it's not a Caribbean recipe, but the spices and flavors and everything is something, if you are from the Caribbean, you would enjoy. And I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people just looking for a nice oven tandoori chicken recipe. And you know, if you wanted to use chicken thighs, drumsticks, the legs with the thighs attached, I would prefer dark meat, but in this case here, I am doing it with the chicken breast attached as well, because I want to show you all. You will get a lovely, juicy, tender, highly flavorful piece of tandoori chicken. So tomorrow, all right, we're letting that marinate overnight now. Day 2 of the recipe, so it marinated overnight. I took it out of the fridge about an hour and a half ago just to bring it back up to room temperature. Show you what I got. Baking tray, parchment paper. If you want to use foil, and that is to make cleanup easier later. Wire rack, if you have it, please put it to use at this point. But before I put the chicken onto the wire rack, what I did was I gave it a little oven spray, a little oil spray on there, just to make, again, clean up easier later on. We've got the 2 pieces of chicken in on the wire rack. What I'm going to do is, I've got a piece of foil. I'm going to put it gently on there. I'm not going to press it down, nothing like that. I'm just going to sort of tent it, because I don't want it will char, and I don't want it to char early. I want it to char later on, so I'm develop that color. And remember, I don't know if I spoke about it when we seasoned it, the skin is that's my happy place, but I don't want to burn it. I want that char, but I don't want to burn it. My oven, 380 degrees, because if you want it to go higher, you can, up to 400 degrees, but keep in mind it will want to burn on you, it will want to char before the chicken is fully cooked all the way through. Keep in mind we did make those cuts, so that will help it cook faster. So into the oven, middle rack, 380 degrees, and I'm just gonna place this gently on there, like so. I got a little bit of the marinade on my finger. Into the oven and let it do its thing. It's been 40 minutes, and you can see the underside here. Anyhow, this is what we got right now. So what I'm going to do is put this back into the oven. Get burned. Anyhow, trying to straighten it up for the camera, and I get that bloom there, yeah, boy. We're going, and this is the charring I was talking about. Without that foil on there, it would have already been overly charred without being fully cooked all the way through. So the goal now is to put it back into the oven, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep rotating it into the oven. So every 5 minutes or so I will spin it around, because I know there's certain hot spots in my oven. Do the same if you know that it's the same for your oven. But again, we remove the foil, and it's going back into the oven after 40 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes later, and this is what we have. Tandoori chicken in the oven. We couldn't replicate an actual tandoori oven, but the flavors of that tandoori seasoning, the marinade, it's all in there. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. Allow it to cool for a few minutes, then you can chop it up. Of course, the chicken breast is there, the thigh and leg, the wings. So, everybody's getting a taste of something here. Serve it, in my personal opinion, I just want it with a couple wedges of lime. That is my oven shutting down there on me. A couple wedges of lime, and I'm good to go. Alright? Again, not a Caribbean recipe, so don't expect it to be posted on CaribbeanPod.com.